Super Mario Brothers as a kid, and I was like, okay, I really have to do a game, and I asked my father how they do games, and he pointed me out to Quick Basic, and then I started programming, and then I went very heavily into programming. I really liked programming as a not maybe form of art is probably the wrong phrase for it, but I really like programming. So I was thinking of doing programming as such without any games at all. But it's not the only creative hobby that I have. I have some other creative hobbies as well.
What are they?
Spelunky, because it's a game about creativity, so you create stuff in it, so Spelunky is one of them. I do magic tricks as well. I kind of like drawing a lot previously in graphic design, but I figured out that I'm not really that good at drawing or graphic design, so I better leave it to those people that are really having fun.
Fear of critique.
Yes, probably. Fear of critique could have probably been. Yeah.
Did you ever go back to that game that you were working on for 2 years and try and prototype that in 7 days?
No. that game, the idea was to do a clone of Flight Mania. The game that's in Bioshock, the one that you use for hacking, where the water flows through the pipes. Yeah.
What language do you use to do most of your prototyping?
I use C++, but it's only because I feel most comfortable with C++. I know how to do C++, and I know all its little things and glitches, so I can work them. But I would highly recommend using anything that you feel comfortable with for prototyping.
What do you think of the upcoming Scribblenauts DS game, and do you think it's a method of getting lazy-ass gamers to be creative?
I think Scribblenauts could actually be a totally awesome game. I haven't played it yet, but I know a few guys who are working on it, and I think it's going to be awesome. I think it could probably be one of those games that allow people to be very creative in their solutions. Yeah. So, it might actually work way better than Crayon Physics Deluxe, and I'm kind of hoping for it. It'd be awesome to see a game actually working that way.
My other fear with Scribblenauts is that it kind of also pushes like a narrow sort of understanding of culture or internet things or so on. That the experience is like the same experience rather than sort of a wide sort of experience, which goes back in time, but it's forward in time as well. That people will know the same things, just like we watch the same television, we know the same things from the internet now.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I fear.
Yeah, it's because a lot of people think that they're actually being creative or unique, but in the end, if you give them certain situations, they do the exact same thing. Like a lot of people hide their keys underneath the mat or under the window or in the flower pot, and then they're totally, when a burglar comes and finds the spare keys, they're totally shocked at how it's possible. Yeah.
When you're prototyping, do you do all the code yourself, or do you actually use a lot of third-party engines like free ones? But
yeah. So do I use a lot of third-party engines?
Like graphics engines
and. If there's a engine that does what I'm looking to do, I'm going to use it. I'm going to try to hack everything together as fast as possible. So if there's a solution to the problem already out there on the internet, I'm going to download it and play around with it instead of trying to fix that or come up with everything on my own. But I do use my own framework and graphics stuff, mostly because I'm kind of familiar how it works. And not necessarily that it's good or the best option of them.
Is it an OpenGL-based one, or is it something else?
It's currently it's OpenGL Direct 3D mingle of both. Because I wanted to try OpenGL as well, so like I'm going to go do this game in OpenGL, and I've never programmed any OpenGL at all. So it's a good way of learning new things. It's actually setting up like rules to really try to do this. You had a question?
Yeah, I'm guessing that like you were working on, or you feel like making creative gameplay mechanics will encourage users to be creative. is great, but the problem is the players still, in once they experience it, they don't have enough motivation to go through it fully. And then you need to add something to there to motivate it.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit more about how you can keep players being creative with some other kind of mechanic that
I've been thinking about so the question was how to keep players being creative and how to come up with a mechanic that allow people to be more creative. Been thinking about it a lot, and the next game where I've been working on a prototype to test out some ideas on this. And I kind of wanted to show the prototypes here, but unfortunately the prototype isn't up to the, doesn't quite, I'm not quite happy with it, and I don't think you get the idea from the prototype if I would show it to you.
So my question was more, like for example with Crayon Physics, it is a creative game that you are creative to solve the problems. But the thing is that players, even once they have that ability to be creative, they still didn't have the motivation, you would say? Like, do you feel there needs to be some kind of progression or reward system
Yes.
on top of that that means
I think, and that's those systems are something that I've been playing around with. One of the simple mechanics would be to allow some kind of peer review. So whenever you do something, you would submit to the internet and you would get points based on other people's peer reviews, because that way you would go around the problem of trying to figure out a decent AI to rate people's creativeness. Problem with that is that if you have a game that has like 120 levels, you need to have 120 times as many people rating the solutions as you have people playing the game, which is a lot. There are some other mechanics, but I don't feel like talking about them. So you had a question?
I kind of like a thought, kind of like the idea that you use like the laws of averages. So basically, there's something that people always go to do in your games kind of thing. And if they're going to, let's say, like use that weight system, breaking the frogs across, but if that's the average, then what's the most different with those averages? And that could be how you score more points and things like that.
Yeah. So, yes, this is also something that I thought about, which would be to put the problem, to reverse the problem. Instead of thinking this is the most creative solution that you have, you reverse the problem and you think this is the same solution that other people have made. So you collect all the solutions and then you make a system that would figure out this is pretty close to what other people have also been doing. And that could actually also work, but I think it's a system that when players would realize how it would work, they would easily game it by just adding some random lines somewhere in order to make it a bit different from what other people have done previously. Yes?
After a successful popular prototype, do you find it harder to deal with an unsuccessful, unpopular prototype?
I'm not sure about the prototypes, but for bigger games, yes, most definitely. For prototypes, at least when I got into the role of doing them every month, I wouldn't feel so bad. Actually, it's a good experience to do a really bad prototype and get it out there and figure out that it doesn't actually really matter that much. Because on the internet, it's a funny thing, everything, if you put something on the internet, someone's going to find it awesome anyhow. Like, and there are things online that aren't awesome anywhere else, like with Ashley, for example.
he's awesome everywhere.
No, he's only awesome on YouTube. It's no good anywhere else. Sorry to just break your illusion. Yeah, you had a question in the back.
When you prototype, how long do you spend with paper and pencil?
So when I prototype, how long do I spend on paper and pencil? I haven't gotten into the habit of using pens and paper prototypes, which is a problem maybe on my behalf because I haven't found it to be very. I found it to be more better to get the system as quickly as possible running on the computer, so I can actually see in the elements that it has. Because real time is a very difficult element to handle on pen and paper, so you don't actually get a good feeling based on. But on the other hand, I know there are a lot of people that actually use paper prototyping very successfully for things. So I basically just write down game ideas on my notebook, and that's the most of paper prototyping that I do. We're actually 5 minutes past our time, so I think we need to wrap this up. Should we quit it now, or